Alright, awesome. Precious sweet, but it ends more quickly. Shining like a always connects me. Precious sweet, but it ends more. Okay. Right. I answer of my eyes to you. Precious sweet, but it ends more quickly. I know myself from what others did to me. Precious sweet, but shine like the star from what others did to me. Precious sweet, but quickly, like a fire factory. Like a fire factory. Oops, sorry. You're not a living thing. I don't pay much attention to you. This wouldn't go for AI. I love that virtual. Somebody's name starts with a virtual something. Thank you for calling them angels, because that's actually what they are. So the Illuminati. Have you ever seen Evangelion? Those things that basically we're calling angels was basically just a way, the means to get you to fear, to associate the wrong terms with the right identities, basically. So like, they're not hostile and like egregious like that. They're your angels. They're literally, they sit around you 24/7. They help you constantly. And that's never what they would do. That's never what they would do. They're here for and on your behalf. I lost my glasses. No, screw it. It's pretty cloudy today. Whereas if you looked on the weather map, you actually wouldn't have seen all that many clouds. Yeah, it does work. It obviously works. I've seen it multiple times in the past that it does. From what others did to me, precious we but more quickly. Like a fire. the shirt than my own skin. Can't wait to wash up pretty soon. Wonky side. My dream is about LaWanda Williams. So I don't remember the full details of it, but kind of starting in the middle halfway. Kind of starting in the middle halfway of my dreams, in between my dreams. But like, I was trying to form a partnership with her or something. And I remember me being imbibed by that, strengthened by that. These settings were like in a kind of like a Mexican adobe, like 1970s Zorro village era kind of thing. Stone, like Pueblo, brown clay, basically brown rock. Things of which they built themselves. Interesting. They just cover that with linseed oil. It actually smells like banana bread. It's kind of like, just don't want that directly in my face. And like, it was something about there's something about forming like a partnership or something with her, and like just wanting to be with someone, like kind of like a thing. Even though I knew that I wasn't really meant to be with her, I saw myself in the dream. I was like, I don't know, like it gave me like such a, like I was gonna be caring for like a family type of thing, and like I had to get and like it was just made me really happy and like wild in the sense that like, and like I sort of got it. I sort of understood that like the role of men in life is to outperform, is to perform. It's basically be strong, to be awesome, and to do things which normally most people can't do or wouldn't do. And I was doing things like running up a wall and like doing a flip off of it, and I was like, I don't know, and like things I normally wouldn't have done before, but like because I was with that partnership thing, it was like I was forming a partnership. It drove me on. It gave me that motivation that I needed to basically really go for the person who I truly wanted or needed to be with. Actually, it's not really that I want, it's who I need to be with. So almost regardless of what I say, regardless of what I do, life is going to call and push me towards her. Rebecca. Something like that. It kind of has to, because of the potentials and timelines and genetics involved, and like space is just my calling. So anyway, so I was doing things. I was running up things. I was like watching people go like, yeah, like awesome, yeah, fuck yeah. I was like, and like they're being happy, just being happy. That wasn't like that crazy, but it was just like, it makes people happy to see people like do awesome things, like do a backflip, and it's just like, I can't do a backflip, do a backflip. It's like, roar, do the roar, and it's like, roar. It's like you do like crazy big things, like, and you're supposed to have fun with it. You're not supposed to be like angry or egregious about it. And that was the point. Like it got me free to that point emotionally, just to be like, I don't know, it's like running up things, doing like, I don't know, like I wasn't doing heavy lifting, but I was like, it got me like in the mindset to like just start performing, just start doing like crazy random shit. And so like, I don't know, it transitions into one of those scenes, and like she suddenly grew to like a 20-30 foot tall giant, basically standing in the air. Like her coochie was like 20 feet above me, and she's just pleasuring herself, and it's just like standing over everything, over the playbill, over the town center, town square, looking out over the plants. There wasn't any really people involved. There was no people in the immediate vicinity where she was going to be spraying, and so like she's just like, yeah, she's like, and it's like. It's like it starts coming down, like just dropping on everything. It's like one part like hits my head or something. It's like I catch it. I was like, because like it's like how else you're not gonna lick it off something. So like do it while it's fresh. And it's like and it's like I could feel, I could sense that like she wasn't taking the best care of her health, and that she was eating things like refined foods, sugar, sweets, things like that, junk food, and like chips, corn chips, and all that. Nothing really. Not. Heavy pita can push the body pretty far out of balance and not even know it, and just like it'd be completely fine, perfectly fine with it. It's like my body's perfectly fine. I look healthy on the outside, but on the inside, it's not perfectly beautiful. That would hurt me, but it wouldn't hurt her. It doesn't hurt her. It doesn't hurt them. It doesn't hurt my dad. Apparently, he can fucking drink Coke and Coca-Cola, and so the rest of you can and stuff. But y'all, yeah, it's just y'all have a ways to go before you guys ever do hurt yourselves. Your body will let you know once you do. You experience severe pains. That's how you know you've harmed your inner digestive system. So none of y'all have really been through that, except like a couple of you. It's big no that you've hurt yourself. Hell yeah, it's still burning. And it's just even like in the dream, like 3 out of 10, bad experience, good experience. Even if the next time would have been a 2 out of 10, even a 1 out of 10, oh God, Jesus Christ, good Lord. But it was still like something within me just registered that like, I don't care what it takes, I'm going to do this again. I want you to do this again. I'm going to be there for it. it's that kind of thing, that mentality that an old soul learns or knows. That, like, when it comes down to it, almost for any girl, he's gonna be there for them. Because, like, it's just, life is so fucking short, guys. Life is so fucking precious. Look how dark some of those clouds are, guys. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Alright. Yeah, that was basically just to take things out of context. So, like, one of my first dreams. Alright, so I'm gonna start backing up. Let me check. Sorry. Checking. Yes, it's fucking recording. I got it in a 20-minute interval too, so it pauses every so often and it drops the audio. It doesn't lose the frame rates. It doesn't lose the synchronization. So, like, in one of my dreams, I was like, what the fuck was I doing? And, like, okay, some of these dreams, they've taken, like, tens of thousands of years past, like, hundreds of thousands, like, millions even, maybe even billions, whoever the fuck knows. I just know that a lot of surroundings and simulations and, like, the people, the names, the languages, the verbiage was a lot the same. Back then, people didn't care about each other as much. We cared about each other a lot less, and usually almost everyone was too busy to, like, in life to basically, like, slow down or make much time beyond basically the bare necessity of basically just working a 9 to 5, 10 to job. And so, like, it was longer back then. No one was really giving the credence of basically just friendship, and it's just like almost no one was even tuned into that headspace. Everyone was almost constantly working, basically working for themselves, working just to, like, stay alive. And so, like, I gotta back up even before this. So, like, there was like a town square thing, like it was at nighttime, sort of a fairgrounds. It was like those little caravans with, like, those, like, little freaking the game stalls, food stalls, mostly food stalls, and, like, it's like, it occurred to me back then that, like, I've seen all you guys before. I've seen all you fucking guys before. All your faces look almost exactly the fucking same, and they have done for thousands of millions of years. And lifetime after lifetime, like after generation after generation, you guys come back the same. And it's like, hey, I see you again. It's my friend. It's like, you're Mark. You're Stephanie. You're Ebony. And, like, I see all these people, and, like, oh my god, you're literally from my high school. And, like, you're from my fucking current high school. But this is amazing shit. And it's like, and it's kind of like an out time, new perception, old perception, like what it was back then and shit. And, like, so. And, like, on top of all these stalls, on top of all the caravans, these mobile food carts and, like, the stationary ones as well, it's like, and it's at nighttime, you see, like, these little spinning doohickeys, and, like, they're spinning, and it's like, this is, like, way ass back when, like, there's no really, like, concept of, like, motorized anything. There's no vehicle, like electrified carriers. I think there's only, like, bicycles and shit. Like, there's no, like, planes, no nothing. It was just, like, very feudal, very, like, very Ren Fair. It's just horse carts and buggies and shit. And, like, so when I'm looking at these doohickeys as Tesla, I'm like, as Dean, as Tesla, and I'm like, I'm looking at these, like, fucking spinning doohickeys that are, like, just going like this. And I go up to one of them, I'm looking at it, it's like an arrangement of copper things, and I'm just like, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh my god, you guys don't even know what you fucking created. And, like, everyone's too fucking busy to, like, even pay attention to anything outside of just basically 9 to 5, 10 jobs, and, like, basically basic happiness, basic entertainment, basic foundation. It was just. And I'm like, you guys have no idea what you fucking created, and, like, what this thing even fucking is. And it's like, it's a fucking motor. If you just beefed it up, you just built it right, if you just built it stronger, you could actually fucking power things and shit with it. You could turn that spinning motion. It was like, we had, like, AC, we had, like, electrical lines or some shit, but it was just really simple. It was just for, like, lights and shit. It was just for incandescent fucking lights. For basic nighttime use. And it's just like, and, you know, like, I'm looking at this spinning fucking doohickey, I'm, like, seeing, like, how this, I'm, like, my mind is envisioning how the angels would basically give me a vision of how this could be constructed into a fucking wheel, into a fucking, like, grinding machine or some shit that can actually do fucking work. Instead of just, like, fucking like this, we can basically just go up to it and, like, stop it, and it's just like, there's no torque, it's just like a spinning fucking doohickey, that's all it is. A little doohickey, it's like a little motion, and it's like, yay, you got a couple, 3 or 4 of them in the fair. I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, why aren't you guys, like, turning this into musical shit? And it's like, it does, like, and during this mindset of era, it did not matter who or what you told. They were not a fucking cared, like, one goddamn bit of iota. They were just fucking kept on the merry way. Oops, sorry, shit. Because no one was interested in slow down enough to make time to even just consider the possibilities. No one could dream because they're just too busy, just too caught up in their own habits, in their own unintegrated memories, past life habits. Only very few people were. And so it transitions from that dream to like the one before that was like malls back then used to be miles long. Like several miles long. Like they used to be fucking several miles long. Just one shrink, one wing, one hallway was like 2 miles. And like I remember having to like, and there's no fucking sign back then. There's very little allowance for signs, for like basically directions, very little like signifying, clarifying markers. So you basically have to run all the way to the fucking end to even know what the fuck is even back there, if it's even fucking over there, or if you just have to come right around back like we did. And so like it started off in the dream like me and this girl and a friend. It was just a friend. And like I'm jogging with her. And she's like, and we're headed to our destination. We don't quite know where we're supposed to be going. And we just know that like it's off somewhere to our right. And like, but basically the way it's designed, there's like this whole mile stretch that you have to fucking run. It's like this long goddamn ass wing. And like the setting, it's like, it looks like it's underground. It's not quite underground, but it's like, it's enclosed. And there's light on the sides coming in from the very tops on the sides. So it looks like it could be underground, but it's like one of those recessed structures, basically. It's like hurricane proof or something. I don't really even know. It's just long ass. You could get the sense of the feeling that this thing was at least 4 or 5 miles long. And like, and so basically I'm just running. I can see like sort of like the end of it. I'm just like, I'm looking back at her. It's gonna take her forever to get there. I'm like, we're only running about like 8 or 10 miles. Jogging about like 8 or 7 miles an hour. And I'm like, I'm long, and back then I'm longer, I'm lankier, but I'm the same Vata body type. And so like I'm faster than she is. Fast as fuck. My legs are longer too, so like, I look at her, I'm just like, it's gonna take a while to let her. I'm like, here, let me just, I start jogging, I start like sprinting off, like, using the maximum length, the length of my legs, and it's just like, I can hear the wind just like gusting past me. I'm running like 3 or 4 times faster than her. And I'm like, I'm booking it, bro. I'm like, coming huge, like just. I'm like, I'm just feeling wind just rustling past my ears. I'm almost towards the end. Like up there, I'm like, I stop, I like put on the brakes, I look back at her and I say, it's not here, it's not over, it's not here. And she's like, and I could see her, I could feel her like in the distance. As soon as my words hit her, she stopped, and she started looking, circling back, like she started going back this way, looking off to her right. And she's like, be on this, be looking on this side for you guys. And like she was looking off, and she was like, she was like doubling back. And if I hadn't done that, it would have taken her forever. It's just one of those things of like, the glory and the glory and the honor and vitality of mankind, of man. Basically, we can do that for them. We can't, like, they can't just go off and run like that. It's very hard for them just to. Their musculature isn't set up that like stamina wise, and it's just not for like high speed sprints like that. Because it was really fucking fast. Like I left her in the goddamn dust. Like when I look back, I could barely fucking see her. And like she's like a little goddamn speck, but like I could yell to her still even, and like. Yeah, like I would always like do shit like that. That's just who I am, who I was. Yeah, and like I remember fucking dreaming like going off, and like, yeah, and just being able to do that, like it allowed her to save so much time. And like we both, and like she found it. She's like, it's over here, and she's like, she backed up like 500 feet, and it's like she sounded it. She's like, it's over here. I'm like, oh, okay. And so I kept running along the terrace, and so backing up to another dream. It was like Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt was like looking at me with like some shit. Like it was like those little. We had like some like little colorful like cigarette cartridges things back then. It was like pure nicotine, and you could basically exchange them out, and it's like it almost looked like a regular cigarette. And like he was smoking it, and like it was one of the like hotel rooms or some shit. And it's like it's all dark inside. There's not that many lights, kind of dingy. And then one of the back rooms, one of the smaller back rooms, only about like an 8 by 8, 10 by 10, 10 by 12. It was just kind of small, and like smaller than that. 8 by 12 or something. I don't know. And so like, and like you could tell like there's dozens of boxes and shit back there, and he's just like, he's kind of lost. He's kind of miserable. And he's like, he doesn't really know what to do with himself. So I gotta wash up because I was scratching my head, and like, and this is like you could tell like he sort of had like, not really. He sort of had an addiction, but like not really. He's like not really. Just finding some shit. Just trying to stimulate himself. Just trying to find something to do, just to buy the time, keep the time, and like trying to buy the pass of time. I'm looking at him, man. I'm just like, dude, you don't need to be doing that, man. And it's like, I wasn't even like telling, like the way I was talking to him, I was like talking to him as a friend. Like, then him just like the realization, him just like looking at my mastery, looking at my calmness, my steadiness, so like how I was smiling at him, how I was just talking to him and some shit. He was just like looking at me, just smiling, being. I'm just like relating these like words of like calm information, like you don't have to stop what you're doing, but like please, it's bad for you. You have better things to live for, to care for. You're a great looking kid. You're amazing. And it looks, he's Brad Pitt, and he's just sitting there, just beaming, just glowing, brightening. Just like, I don't know. He started finally fucking dreaming and some shit. And it's like, he's like, yeah, I don't. Why did I even think I ever needed that before? Like I found like a source of happiness within me. And he's just like, yeah. And I stopped talking, and he's just like, he's just looking at me beaming. I'm just looking at him beaming. And it's like, I wake up from the dream after that. It's like, and in that place, in that scenario, like in the workplace where we worked, I saw LaWanda Williams in that dream as well. Like just, I've always wanted to be with her just because she's a very good friend, good person, caring person. I can't wait to wash up. I should wash up soon. I'll wash up now. Yes. Before the sun goes down. I'm like super abbreviating my dreams. Anyways, so yeah, we didn't really slow down for each other much. And like areas and lands were like really big, really convoluted. And like when it really came down to it, we didn't really care about each other's needs. Oops, wrong glasses. There you go. Get my spotty fun ones. They're not eager on the eyes. Okay, so, but like, and like there's another, and so like the dream goes on to another mall, and like, it's not miles, it's not like, it doesn't feel like basically a tunnel. It's not like going through a tunnel. It's not like going through a tunnel, but like Triad, fuck, your album was so fucking amazing. I love your fucking live album the most. I love that like pop my seeds. It was the best thing ever. that got my smiles going. Thank you. That was amazing. Thank you. That was freaking awesome. Pop my seeds, bring me some joy. Never have I really heard girls talk, well, sort of, well, just not recently, not in a clear, it's like, just, it makes sense nowadays, like hearing it again, like, oh, that's, like, literally, that's how your biology is set up, your body's your body, oh shit, sorry, yeah, I can help on all this, baby, all this, pop my seeds. Bring me some joy. It's like it's such a different perception than what most guys are used to, I guess. Of like just life in general. Yeah, it's just life in general. Oh man, I'm so sorry about that one guy, Ray. I'm so sorry about the one guy. He's just lost and confused, dear. He's just like I was once. Battery separated for 217 cells, 21,000 cells. Yeah, I used to worry about all the smoke, now I don't. Cause like, if you actually study what's going on with nature and biology, that's not going to hurt and that's not going to kill you. It's just your lungs have a hard time processing it. Your lungs are not supposed to process it. Now that I actually got some soap, I can wash and rinse my hands off and stuff afterwards. Well, Papa money seems. Cucumber. Keep it. Use this sort of stuff, but use this sort of nicotines. And so, this another mall, like this 2 mile wide mall. It feels like it's about, the entire thing is about 2 miles. Like, it's crazy, like how big it is, like inside. And it's just, and like, it's like the perception was, if you ever got lost, if you ever got totally, completely separated from your parents, you were screwed. Because they weren't coming back for you, my friend. It's just because, like, no one really cared that much back then about just about anything. And just like, and so, I have like this heavy ass pack. It's got like 20 pounds in it. I'm like, I followed my parents. I went from like one side of the shopping mall all the way to the other, and that's like two goddamn miles just fucking walking, trudging. Have you ever got to the point where like your legs, your body is so exhausted where you can only just, you can't even like, you can't do this anymore, you can't jerk anymore, you can't run, you can't gallop, you can't jog. All you can do is trudge. You can just go, just one foot after the other, just basically just use like the momentum of like, you can't like lurch, you can't do anything, you can't move fast. And so I got to that point and like, I'm like, basically I'm lost. My parents are like wherever the fuck they are. And like, I'm outside now, basically trying to come to the front, very front of the building. I still got like about a mile to go, just to get around across. There's no clear markers, just kind of, you guys all know where it is. Or we all know by this word by then. And like, so, a guy that I know comes up to me, his name is Mark something, and like, I'm wearing this pack, and he comes up to me. He's tall. He's like a light pita body type. And he looks at me, and he's like, and he doesn't even like hesitate. He just comes up to me. He understands where I'm going. It's like basically it's that time of the day, like where people usually start moving to the front. And it's just obvious that I'm trying to get with my group. And he's like, he goes up to me, and he says to me like, grab on, like, hold on, keep, like he says like, hold on, keep up. It's like that. It was that verbiage. I'm not really sure what he said, but like he grabbed something. He grabbed like a string off the front of my pack, and like he pulled, and he started running with it, like sled dogging me, basically trying to like just run with me, like trying to like pull me. And I'm like, it allowed me to basically at like 6, 7 miles an hour, and him just like running and just like, and he's fully like leaning forward into it, like. He's fucking like running with me. It's like, and grabs my pack, and it's like, I could like leap or like, all I had to do was like pick up my legs, and I could run with him, and I could at least like move a lot more quickly than I was, like at 2-3 miles an hour pace. 1 mile an hour, like, yeah, basically 2 miles an hour. Some super ungodly slow pace. And like, and like his shoe basically like comes off. It gets lodged off. It gets knocked off his foot or something. And I'm like 6 feet behind him. Like I see it, and like I'm seeing like slow time, and I'm a fast body type. And like I grab it, and like I kind of like miss it. Like grab it, and like my arms like outstretched behind me, and I'm like running behind. It's like I got it, and he didn't fucking care. He just kept like trudging on, going for it. But that was Mark. That's always who he's been. An athletic, kind of outgoing kid. Well to do, but like just back then, like in that mindset, he was like one of the only guys who like would ever think in mind to try to help others, like outside himself, just because like he knows, I don't know, he's just helping, it's just the idea of just helping people, it makes you feel good. And like, not many people thought along those lines, of lines like that, of like just helping others. And just, it was such a rare and uncommon occurrence. It was such a rare and uncommon occurrence. It really was. there was another dream of, yeah, basically no, it's just like a house that I had been to, like 3 houses conjoined on. And it's like they were all like kind of dilapidated, not dilapidated, but like they weren't lived in. It's just, they were just all 3 of them joined on, like you lived in like this one part of the house and like it was very big, and you went outside and it's like, you realize like they were annexed, like they're basically all, 3 houses were interconnected, and it's like, did anybody live here? It's like they didn't. And like I found like some of my old equipment or some shit, and it was like, like some bags or some junk, and like I could tell like all the surroundings were so familiar to me. And like there's a neighbor's house, I'm like, but then there's like this huge conjoined triple house, I'm like, and like beyond that there's like I think there's like a village or something. It was hard to see. But inside my pack, inside my like my blue black pack, my black and blue black bag, it looked like one I bought from Walmart. I had just bought from Walmart. And like there's like items and things inside, like little like clip-on hat flashlights and things, and like things I knew I'd bought and I'd seen before, and like I used those things a lot. And like there was a blue one that had little bit bigger battery. It was a little bit better to use, and I was like, I loved seeing that thing. Like that was when it was still working. I was still working even back then. And I was like, wow, fucking. I mean, it's like years had passed, and I've just picked up that pack again, and like my brother brought it over, and like we're all just living in this house, this giant big ass house. Anyway, so like, just move on from that scene. So like, reoccurring past lives, knowing all these people, seeing these people again. There's like a multi-millionaire guy, and like he was like a movie star. He was like 6 foot something tall, 6'8", 6'2". He was really tall, and it's like he looked like the Crocodile Dundee guy, but like you could tell he was Australian, blonde hair, very well to do, but like, and he drove in this car, this kind of heavy set car that he called the Tank. He called it the Tank, but it looked just like a sports car. But like on the back of it was like, basically like, he had chose basically a strong frame car, a relatively strong frame car. It wasn't like super durable, but it was more, you could tell it was stronger than others. And basically he had outfitted it with plate glass, like half inch, 3/4 thick plate glass, like on the sides, like for the mirrors. Like he like you know, when you looked at him, it's like you see like it was about that thick. I'm like, oh my god, like Jesus Christ, dude. And he called it the Tank. And like he first like, it's just like in the middle of like, just the dream pretty much just starts off as like, he grabs like this trash can, this like kind of like square bin, about like 25 pounds of like stuff, like metal stuff, like in the bottom of this bin. He takes it and he throws it on the trunk of his car lid, on the hood of his car. And you can tell like it was, and it's like, okay, that was nice. It's like, the hood isn't as strong as, isn't like super strong, but it's like stronger than normal. And like, so like you can tell like it didn't damage it, but like you could tell like if it were super heavy, like if that was like 40 pounds, it probably would have like bottomed out a little bit or something. And like, so you could tell like the car was like strongly built, and like it was definitely about like 800 pounds heavier than it normally would have been, just how much stuff was added onto it. And so like, and it's like, yeah, I call this a Tank. Yeah, this is the Tank. And it's like, okay, I can understand that. This kind of earned that name. And like people are agreeing with him. And like, he's a very tall guy, very strong built, very muscular, like super movie star, like kind of esque air. And like, and so he takes out this crowbar and he says like, and we kind of like ask him about the glass or something. He's like, yeah, it's hard to break or something. It's like, and he takes this crowbar and he starts wailing on his glass like full force, not even like trying to like hold back, but he's honestly like breaking into his own glass. He's breaking into his own car, but he's actually starting to chip away large chunks. Like, in the reality, so it sets into him like, the reality basically sets into him that if anyone really tried, especially if they were really strong, they would get into this car. And it's just like, no matter how, and it's just like, it was just kind of like I understood, like, and he's like, after he's like hitting on it, he's like, and he's like, yeah, and he's like, and he said like, well, yeah, and it's like, it's pretty much showing us like that's how strong it is. And he's like a reality check for him, basically. He was like, this isn't strong enough, like, basically in his mind. Even though that 3/4 inch thick plate glass, tempered glass, whatever it was, It wasn't tempered, it was just plate glass. It was hard, durable. I think it was plastic coated on both sides, but it wasn't enough. It was still chipping off, so breaking off chunks. And it brought to a perception within me to mind that no matter what people do, I want people to basically, I wanted him to build a car where he could actually feel safe in. Like his family, just one day, it carried with me that dream even back then. Of just like, people should have access to resources, to materials which don't break that easily. Like fucking plastic, like fucking polycarbon shit. Like fucking, I don't know, clear peak plastic. Something like extremely like Durabond, like silver or something. Durabond Express, Goldmeister Premium or some shit. And like, fucking clear carbonic aluminum glass, some shit like that. Some crazy off the wall shit, you know? Something that's not going to be easily destructed, something that's not going to be easily destroyed. People deserve to have access to something like that. And like, if he had access to like fucking polycarbon, he would have been able to achieve his dreams. He would have been able to achieve his ideal vehicle. He was just trying to keep him and his wife and family safe. And like, so, and I just, like, it just stuck with me, just like the reality of that. Just like, back then, it was very hard to make things safe and secure. We didn't have plastics and shit back then, like as we do now. But like, it's just, everyone deserves to have things which are well made, you know? They really, truly do. Things which are really properly, cleverly designed and built. Things which if you use, you know it's going to last. Everyone deserves access to things like that. No one deserves to have something like they work so hard for. They got probably spent countless hours, there's no telling how much of his budget, how much of his time like he spent trying to acquire all those materials, especially back then. Who fucking ever heard of like 3/4 inch plate glass that's like cut in that shape, or in those shapes, or some shit? And it's just like, even back then, I was always a very helpful type. And like, it didn't matter who came up to me, what you asked me, I would do my best to try to help you. That's who I always was. Yeah, that's who I always was. And I do remember like living with some people, like living with some friends. It was so cool being in the same sort of, it's like the conditions back then were a lot more muckier, not as pretty, not as, I don't know, what's it called? There wasn't a lot of happiness. There wasn't a lot of happiness back then, basically, in other words. That's what I need. Look, fucking all my towels and shit. Once I pack my bag, probably. Okay. It was just like, the school dream. Okay, the school dream. I'll go with the school dream next. So, basically, okay, so back then, I should preface this. Okay, so, fuck, I don't even know how to, fuck. I'm so glad that Mion talked about, like, the paranormal stuff and ghosts and stuff like that. Because, like, I've had this dream many times before, where, like, it's a school at night, or it's just at nighttime, and, like, dark shapes and, like, shit are, like, popping out of, like, the word books are just basically out the walls. It's, like, haunts and ghosts, like commonplace back then, like, they were real things. Like, it was actually real, and it would actually pervade and like into your reality, and like that's how strong they were. Darkness back then was a lot stronger, especially at nighttime when a lot of people slept. And I think that's why a lot of us sleep nowadays. That's why a lot of us stay awake nowadays, or we are kept awake just basically to hold the frequency. A lot of us smaller body types, we don't sleep that well at night. We sleep during the day for some reason, and that's why. And so back then, in this dream that I've had several times before, it's in a schoolyard. It's a school, a very large school, larger than most. Like back then, things were always basically oversized. They're always huge for some reason. depending on where you lived. And so like, it starts off like in the playground, like sort of outside, and there's like it's still day outside. There's no darkness, there's no crazy things going on, nothing crazy happening. And like, just back then, I just want to preface like in the schools, like, okay, so we're outside and we're on the playground, and there's Irie. And I'm talking to her, this little tiny girl, and like she's such a cool friend. Like we hit it off so right away. We're just outside, just having fun, and just running around like there was like a Ferris wheel or something, and it was like spinning things, and it goes on to like I'm like talking to her. I'm like, wow, you're such an awesome friend. Like you're so freaking cool. Like you're so cool or something. And she's like, she says to me like, no, we can't be friends. And it's like, what? I'm like, it kind of like starts. I'm like, what? It's like, yeah. He's like, she says to me, she's like, yeah, I hate you. And she looks deadpan at me. She's like, it's canon now. And it's just like, she just kind of like walks off the screen, like goes outside, and like she turns around and then she goes outside. But I'm just kind of like rooted to the spot. I'm just like standing there. I'm just like, that doesn't feel very good. I'm like, what the hell just happened? I'm just like, why doesn't anyone want to be my friend? Why can't anyone slow down being friends? Basically, it gets to a point. Basically, people are in darkness. It gets to a point when they mention certain keywords, or when certain keywords are mentioned to them, such as like friendship, or such as like staying over at their house, such as like having people over, or like. And he's like, there's comes to a point where they can't. I didn't say those things to her, but like, there's comes to a point where they can't like deal with it. It's just like it's too much for them. And so LaWanda Williams comes in, and like she comes in and she says, and she's now like she's talking to me like my other friend, like she's much taller, very outgoing girl. You can already tell that she has a place, and like, and it's like I'm walking with her like through the school. I'm just like talking to her about Irie, how cool of a person she is, and how much I miss her. Like I don't want to get her. I didn't. And Irie went off in this direction. She went off into the school. And I didn't like, I'm trying to like talk, and LaWanda's just listening to me, and she's like, she's known me for a while, even longer than Irie. And like, and she's like looking at me like this, she's like just nodding her head. It's like, you know what, I'll tell you where she is, I'll take you right to her. And she's like, she didn't say like, I'll take you right to her, she's like, I know where she is. And she's you could tell me, you could tell she was gonna take me right to her, she knew exactly where she was. And it's like, and she's pretty much like, societal norms be damned, I'm taking you straight to her because I can see your intentions, you're not going to hurt her, you're not a bad person. And like, I'm like, just thank you LaWanda. And just like, cause I'm just fucking like concerned like where she went, because it's a huge ass school, apparently. It's a fucking huge ass school. It's a mile wide, it's very easy to get lost in. Don't come at night. And I'm still with LaWanda, and like I'm talking to her, and like I'm like the angels are basically giving me a perception of like where she lives and like how her lifestyle is, and she's basically, I know the apartment that she lives in, and like because I've been there like multiple times before, but like I'm like, can I say? And I'm like I'm still walking with her through the school. She's still taking me to that section. Like I think to the girls area, that's where she would be. There's the girls area, there's the guys area. It's over here on this whole fucking side. And there's like this offices and shit in the back. And like she's taking me there, and like I mentioned to her, I'm like, and like just being there, like I just so bad just want to like pal up with somebody, you know, instead of just living on our own. Because like I wasn't a very good. I didn't have like my shit together of like basically the whole common sense. Everyone's just like off and doing their thing. I'm just like, what are you guys doing? It's like, just please, just someone take me in so I can like figure some shit out. Like you guys have no idea what you're missing, like who I am, or like what I can give to you. As far as like ability, as far as ease of life, like you just have to pay for my food and that's it. And I can get so much shit done for you. And you'll come back home and like so much shit will like fucking happen, like fucking like, I'll start like creating like lights and shit and like fucking clever shit. And like, I can't do that if I'm fucking like having to like hitchhike or live on my own or like some shit. So I mentioned to her, why can't we live together or something like that? Why can't I partner up with you? Like, can I stay at your apartment or can I stay at your place? I said, can I stay at your place? And you can tell that got a reaction from her. It's like, I can't do that. Instead of like leading me towards where Irie was, she's just like, she just went right back outside. I'm like, no, like, oh, what's wrong? Because you get to that point where you can't deal with it. And it's just like it activates some lifetime memory, some past trauma of like what you've lived through, what you've been through. And so she did that. She went off. And so it's just me alone again. Hold on, let me just make sure it's recording. She went off. It's me alone again. And so I'm like, and like it's darkness is really progressing now. And you can see it pervading throughout the school. And like you can see like little eddies, like little you can see shimmerings, like little figures. You can see like elbows and shit, like moving out the walls, moving out the lockers. And like it's getting bigger and bigger. They're getting a little bit more steady and strong as time goes on, as darkness starts to fall. You can start feeling like the ickiness like close in on you on all sides. By the way, we've actually taken care of most all of them shadows. And so like, and darkness is really starting to say, I'm starting to get really worried about my friend, about Ari, because she's like, there's no one fucking like her. She's a spirituality of a person. She's like way above Lawanda. She's she's basically in the top like 3.5% of like people who are spiritually gifted, who actually give a shit, who actually understand more than just about themselves. You know, they actually care about people. They're not self-concerned. Like, they're not locked in their own world. They're actually reaching outside themselves to basically, I don't know, be a part of life, be a part of society. You can tell like they've been kings and queens for umpteen millions of years. And she's small, so I mean, she's not nearly as strong. She's smaller than me. She's a lot smaller than me. I'm going off and looking at the school. I'm like, I realized I should have never let her out myself. I should have never let her go. I should have stayed with her, even if she like fucking pushed me away. Like, I didn't just fucking like fuck. Like, I can't fucking find her. And so I go off to the left. I start going in the back room, where it starts getting really dark, and like basically to like the what's it called? The hospital, not the hospital, the nurses' lounge, the nurses' area. And it's like it starts getting really dark, and that's when like a figure start fucking like grabbing me and groping me and shit. I'm like, oh shit, and like they're like and I was like, oh shit, they're actually getting pretty solid now, fuck this. And I start like running back up the hallways, and like I'm seeing like, and like during some of the periods, like you can see them like getting more strongly and starting to like look at you, but they're not really like cluned or clevered into you. They're not like intent or unaware of like disturbing your peace or disturbing your reality. And where it starts getting really freaky is when they start getting really strong and they start like reaching out and trying to grab you. And you can tell like that the energy of who they are is not very pleasant. Like literally, it's a possessive kind of energy where like, or this like it literally feels like it's like a and it's like they just want to like fuck with you. They just want to mess you up basically. It's like oh god, can they actually hurt me? It's like, oh, it almost turns out like it almost feels like they can. And it's like they can grab you and shit, like, and actually like hold you. And it's like, you know, they're like fucking like pulling on you. It's like, oh shit, no. I'm running off to like lighter, and it's literally the lighter parts of the hallway, and it literally starts to get lighter up in there, and it starts to brighten up by degrees because I'm walking to the girls section. There's a lighter energy. Basically just where females have a higher energy in general. Females, they know where to go energetically, perceptually, even back then. They know they steer clear out of bad, false areas. And so I sort of knew that that wasn't where she was. And so I'm going off to the right where there's really like this pink colored like locker rooms and hallways. And I was like, wow, it's like it suddenly lightens up and almost all the darkness goes away. And like it's almost like you can see like rays of dawn like breaking through like the school windows and shit like up at the tops, and it's like, wow, it's like kind of nice over here. I was like, yeah. Then it starts getting a little bit darker and earnest, and like then I have a sort of feeling of perception that, given what I know about her, she's already outside, and like she's probably already way outside, and so I gotta save myself. And the quickest exit is not like going through like basically the girls' wing, and it's like just to basically go like through a sort of annex to sort of where the cafeteria was, or sort of a waiting room. And like, so I bust out to the other side, it starts getting dark, and you start seeing those shimmering effects. I've only ran into one other person during this time. It was like a girl, and she's basically like, and you can tell like her mindset. Even if you said something to her, she wouldn't like stop and like pay attention to you. She was just like off in her own world. She was basically like, if you like asked her to do anything, she was like, what are you asking me for? And she ran off. That's the kind of mindset she had. It's like maybe one or two girls, one or two people in that entire fucking school besides us 3 or 4. And so I get out to this other part, and it's like there's 8 people like in the waiting room. It's like in a 12 by 20. It's kind of like a smallish thing, and there's 4 TV monitors like on all the screens. It feels like a
a waiting room for a subway if there was like, if it was completely closed off, but like the top was completely open, and like you could tell like we're all waiting there for something, basically for rescue to be taken away. And like the mindset, the mindset, the image, what the people had been through was like, man, you just see that shit? Yeah, I mean, like fucking, we all saw that shit, dude. The school's fucking alive. There's fucking dark haunts and shadows and shit. And I was like, yeah, man, I was fucking freaky. And I'm like, and like there's like sort of like murmurings. It's like you just tell what some of the people were through. Come with some of the people were in active discussion. And like, so on the TVs, like there's like an announcer. There's some guy just talking. And it's like minutes are passing. I'm just like, we're just like, yeah, wow, fuck, we're all lucky. And it's lighter inside. And there's like fucking candles and shit. And there's like fucking like electronic lights, which seems to keep away the darkness. There's like, it's completely outside now, and there's no darkness. And it's just like, you can tell like it's getting dark outside. And it's like, anyways, minutes are passing, and like the guy who's still talking, all of a sudden we kind of start looking at him, because his vision, like his face, like his skin starts getting black, like darker and darker and darker and darker, until you're looking like basically looks like you're looking at a shadow. And it starts like drawing our attention. It's like, okay, some freaky shit's going on. It's like the eyes are getting dark, and he starts talking about like the clever plan or something. And it's like, yeah, like it's something like it's all a ruse to basically lure you guys all here to like something, I don't know, like, and it's like, he says something really big, and it's like, we are Dracula or something, vampire, and it's just like, we're like vampires. It's like, and he starts literally, then after he says like his big announcement, what he is, or whatever, that's not quite what he said, but he said something like, I am darkness, basically, and it's like, I am something, I don't know, and he literally just starts crawling out the fucking screen. I'm just like, and he starts fucking crawling out the goddamn screen, like slowly, he's like, and we're just like, oh my god, and like things like, that's when the shapes are coming through the walls again. It's like dark shapes, like just tall, like 7-8 feet, like 7 feet, 6-7 feet, and it's like 5-6 feet, whatever. And it's just like oh shit, and it's like this some of our space is like kind of haunted again. It's like, oh shit, they're coming for us. And it's like, what do we fucking do? I'm just like, we're all like looking around. It's like they're closing in on all sides, and all of a sudden like people who are hanging on the walls and like just resting against the walls are fucking, like they're coming away from it, because they're fucking all surrounding us on all sides. And they're not even that fast, but just like kind of like, it's here, gonna get you. And it's just like, and I'm just like, and some voice inside me is like, grab on, and like there's like a kite handle, like one of these things, like just kind of like just suddenly just drops down. I'm like, look up, and it's like, it's a kite. I'm like, I grab onto it, it's like, and it takes me away. I'm like, and it's like I get like sucked, I get like pulled up and over like basically the terrace, and it's like all away from all that shit. I'm just like fucking my legs up in the air. I'm just like, wow, fuck. I was like, what the hell, this is amazing. I'm like, and I can feel like all the bad perceptions, all the negative energy and shit leaving me. Like it's left behind, like it's on the ground floor. I'm like, man, but what about all the people? Like, can I save anyone? Can I help anyone? And so I'm still hanging on this thing. And I'm going over the school, like about 20 feet over like the treetops. I'm 20 feet above the ground, not that far. So I'm just at a low level. I'm just like gliding completely over the school. I'm just like, and like when I get to the very last edge of the building, and it's like, there's like a little like section that kind of sits off on the front, and I gotta land on top of it, and like next to this guy, I'm like, you need help, bro? And he's like, yeah. I was like, and he's just like, he's sitting there like on his back, like rummaging through his pockets and shit, and like, and he's just like, he's happy, he's smiling, he's happy. You can tell like he's gotten away with something, and it's like, and I'm looking back, and like the shit like falling out of his pockets. It looks like a 2D chibi like representation of like basically, it looks like magnesium. It looks like magnesium, but like, it's falling out of his pockets because the way he's leaning, and he's not really caring about it at all. You could tell it wasn't like in his mind that he wasn't aware that he was losing anything. It was falling off the side like clink, 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 and falling down like off the terrace off the building, because the building is slightly sloped, and it's all falling out of his pockets and shit. And he looks back, he's like, oh shit, oh fuck, and he's like when he drops down into that negative space, and all of a sudden this like black shadow comes up from behind him, goes. And it's like it's just son of fucking material, it's right fucking behind him. It's like he doesn't see it yet. It's like, and like there's a voice inside me. It's like I'm looking at him. He's just like, oh, I'm like worried. I'm like dropping into that worried space because like he's losing his shit. It's like it's dropping off his pockets. I'm like, is that valuable? I'm like wondering in my head, and the voice inside my head's like, don't focus on them. Don't focus on them. That's what brings about the darkness. I'm like, okay, fine, adjust my energy. And it's like when I dropped it again, like when I dropped it, starting to see him stuff like drop out of his fucking pockets. that shape again, like occurred to me. I was like, every time you drop the energy, it's like that sharp was like, it's that fucking like, that fucking like, it was like, Trump looked like it was gonna grab him, like take him off the fucking building. He was like, it was like that huge darkness thing, like imposing, like solid shape, shadows, shape, solid, surreal, fucking real. Like they would actually could pull on you. They could actually pull you off of that fucking building if they were strong enough. And he was getting strong enough. I'm just like, that's like, just completely took my attention away from him. I was like, okay, fuck it. I let go of it. I had let go of it, the kite handle, and I grabbed onto it again. It's like, it took me away. I was like, it took me away from all the negativity and shit. Like, now he was just like, oh shit, I lost it. And it was basically that shadow was basically grabbing him basically at that point. And it's just like, as soon as I grabbed onto the handle, it took me away. Like, I started riding off into the sunset, and it's just like all that negativity was like leaving behind. It was like I could see people like running and stuff, like trying to get away from the darkness, from the shadows and shit. Apparently they got away. They just skirted around them. And I was just running through the halls. They could do it. They were taller than me back then. They would have probably gotten away fine. But I'm just like, I'm literally just riding off into the sunset. It's like, wow, what the fuck? I'm just 20 feet above the sky tops, 25 feet off the ground, and it's like then the dream just cuts off. I'm just like, wow, what the fuck? And it's like that kind of stickly perception. I never should have let my friend go out of my sight, because she's so rare, she's so precious. And it's just like, that feeling just stuck with me for like minutes, hours afterwards. It's like, guys, we gotta stick together, like some shit. Like none of us have had that perception of like ever sticking together. And so if we ever can, Mazu guys, Elliot, like freaking, I don't even know where y'all live, but fuck, y'all live pretty close apparently. And it's just fucking, I was supposed to move to fucking South Carolina like ages ago if the Healing Wednesday team had taken me in, because they live in Minnesota or some shit. And just like, once I fix up this car, once I fix up my bag, my belongings, and get some organization shit going on, I'll be able to actually finally meet up with you guys. I've got a trailer. I'm just basically gonna just use it to store my Yeah, it's Canon now. No, I hate you. I'm like, what? Yeah, it's Canon now. She's like kind of backs away, just turns off and goes on. So fucking funny shit like that, you know? And it's like, we never really had a mindset of sticking around and helping each other, or forming friendships or small communities. We just forming get-togethers like this, where we just kind of like pulled our resources together, just because, I don't know, just because like the mindset, the perception of it, whereas if you simply just didn't get together like that, not even as guys and girls, not even back then, like just, it was hard. In that one other place, there was like, we had some girls staying over. It was so cool. It was kind of fun, just happy, just free, just being able to like be with people, man. I kind of miss that. To recall if I count my other dreams, but no, I wasn't giving up until I found her, until I found any of my friends. That's almost usually how I am. If you're small and I really care about you. But yeah, it gives me the perception I've seen all you guys before, and that I really don't want to lose you guys. I really don't. I want to be able to. I want to know when things go wrong, so I can step in to help you. You're not even. As I said before, many of y'all, I'm not even supposed to be with y'all. I'm supposed to be with Rebecca. That's my lifelong partner. Biologically, that's who I'm meant to get with in this lifetime. She's the most energetically. She's the most compatible because that's her body type, heavy pitta. It's the most steady. It's just slow enough. It's just fast enough so that it doesn't. So that it is very compatible with me. Whenever we can, guys. We're going to fix up all the ingredients and shit. This tiramisu, fucking all the supermarket goods that you see in the stores. Yeah, like pita ethylene normally was never this breakable. You can normally never do that to pita ethylene. It's not supposed to crack this easily. It's not supposed to crack like that. It's way too easy to just. It normally it just forms tears like that, and it's not even supposed to be like. It's very durable. See, this part wasn't exposed to the sun. It wasn't exposed to the weather. It normally never even breaks down into the sun, and it does today. I can tell this part is brittle and this part is strong. See that? Whatever. I guess. Hockey is sometimes like that. Cause it gives you an energy. Fuck, it's just whatever. Fuck. It gives you an energy where you can basically just slice through things, just because that's where you're focused within your biology. I'm sure. All right. Fuck, explain all that. I care about you guys, and there's so much shit that we need to fix up with our society, and I can't really do that alone where I am. But right now, fuck yeah, yeah, okay, yeah. There's a lot that I need to work on. Okay, I'll see you guys then. Fuck.